Okay, Mr. LaFond, you male chauvinist pig. We gotta cover your very misogynistic book. Okay? Your Trojan Horse, the manual of female ownership. Oh, yeah, with the very feminine colors here. Now I remember these books when they came out. I have kind of like I'm sort of like a Boy Scout compared to you, to say the least. But this book, there's another book too. Wait, but there's another. We'll start with this one. Your Trojan Horse, the manual of female ownership. Look at look at the back. Oh, look at that photo. It's was it Fatal Attraction? I'll read the back here. Do you desire a sheath for your sword? Has the place where you sheath your sword of love become a rancorous scabbard of animosity? Do you have too much vagina in your life? But honestly, come on, man. That's not too much of a problem at this point for a lot of people. Is the vagina in your life negatively affecting your masculine serenity? You don't have a vagina. Oh, I see what you're saying. Do you require a manual of female ownership? If so, no longer must you cling blindly to the assumption that the soil where you sow your manly seed is a minefield of ethics, needs, virtues, and negotiations, which is, I guess, what I think. In your Trojan Horse, you will learn to put your bitches in perspective. Oh my God, dude. I'm not friends with you no more. Oh.
This was edited by my girlfriend. Well, she was the main girlfriend at the time. She was kind of pissed off about the other two. But she knew about him.
On God's great earth, there are but 4 types of women: the whore, including most married women; the manizer, the slave girl, and the priestess. So, bro, buy this book, and it's only a matter of time before the bitch queens that have ruined your life will have their hairstyle altered to accommodate your beer coaster. All right, so, oh, dude, this is...
Okay, so the Latin term for a scabbard was vagina. That it was word. You put your gladius in a vagina.
I believe that.
Okay, so so I wasn't just being cruel there. That book started out. The working title of it was "Why You Don't Get Laid."
Right.
And the answer was pretty simple: because you're not Dante. It was like a guy the first fighter that I coached. Okay. And the longer this went on, the more frustrated I was getting with. I had 2 sets of readers. I had the knuckleheads. Okay, some of whom I coached, and some of whom were just readers, who had too many women in their life, and they didn't properly manage this. And this is like Mr. Frank Gilbert told me when he was coaching Alex, who now runs that boxing club. He said, the kid can knock anybody out. That's not the problem. The problem is that beautiful girl sitting on a stool waiting for him to get off work. The other one that's on the phone that she's holding. And then the third one who's out in the parking lot in the car. And he said, and Alex is going to leave with 2 of them together.
Oh, man.
Because the one's too young to drive. And the other one's going to drive him around. So how do I keep this guy focused when the women are just coming to him like he's a magnet in their metal? So although I began writing Why You Don't Get Laid for the more cerebral and readers who read a lot more than the knucklehead readers, who weren't having the female companionship they wanted. At the time, I was really focusing on coaching a couple of guys who had the opposite problem. So I was like, who's more important? The fighters that have 5 girls? And at this time, I'm in that same position.
Right.
I've seen the girl
who's
that
more
edited
important?
the book, and then, it was actually 3 other girls.
No, the other guys are more important. Screw those dudes. They get all this pussy already.
So the guys that were fighting and having a hard time sorting out, the females in their life, I decided to focus it on them, but write it in such a way that the other guys would get something out of it. So,
poor baby.
So the basic idea was that you needed to organize your women according to their categories. And when I thought about the fact that I was actually successfully dating, it was 4 women at the time, and they all knew about each other. They were different types of women.
So
the one was the manizer. She's just using me.
You have the archetypes.
All right. Yeah. So the one was the slave girl. Okay. The other one was the priestess, and then there was the other chick who was the psycho chick who I broke up with on and off a whole lot. So it was. The main thing to understand is there was an old joke that guys my dad's age would tell, like, every woman you ever knew was a whore except your mother, and she was a whore until I met her. Okay, right?
Toxic masculinity.
But the thing is what is a prostitute? To a certain extent, I've been one in my life when I will prostitute my ideas for money. Okay, in these books, the gladiator, which would be any prize fighter today or athlete, was considered by the ancients to be a prostitute, because he's making an intimate negotiation. He's actually putting his soul out there, if you will. He's going out there risking his life in a fight, really for consideration. Well, from a woman's perspective, what is marriage? A husband is housebound by the woman. He's held hostage by her.
Housebound husband.
But she, on the other hand, is going to be biologically tied to this guy as soon as she gets pregnant, and now she's going to have a child that connects him to, just like he has her and his children, that connects him to this evil society and binds him to it. She's being bound to him.
But you mean certain people?
Not
all people.
By this process of having a child.
Right.
So, how did the one lady I was dating who taught a couple of languages volunteered to edit this for me, and I agreed to make her some food while she was editing, and that chapter is in there. I only had a couple of things left over. The other girl left these nachos over there, and I had some out-of-date feta cheese crumbles, like the dollar store feta cheese, and I made these nachos, which she thought was disgusting. And she's like, I don't have anything to eat. I can't finish editing this tonight. I've got to leave. So after she leaves, I stay up and write an article about why she's going to show up with a covered dish the next day.
And she...
because I fed her this garbage, and this is the tactic that you should use if you want a covered dish the next day. At the time, my grocery budget was such that I basically dated for food.
I remember that.
Okay, so the next day she comes over with roasted Brussels sprouts with cheese and garlic over the top of them, like a whole big thing.
Love that.
Well, thanks a lot, baby. This is great. And she said, "Oh, you're really exhausted. You've been up like yeah since the last time you were here. I've been writing." And she's got the open file on the computer, and I lay down in bed, and she's editing it. She's laughing. She thinks some of the stuff is funny, and I fall asleep. And I wake up. She's a really cute little thing. She's sitting on me, and her little hands are trying to strangle me. And she's calling me a son of a bitch, a bastard, and she's trying to choke me, and it's so cute. I don't even have to defend. It was like she physically can't choke me. And I'm laughing. She said, "You evil bastard. You knew that I was going to bring these Brussels sprouts there." I said, "Baby, in my defense, I thought maybe it might be pasta. I didn't know it was going to be Brussels sprouts."
My man is a PIMP, Bob.
So,
right.
Okay, so it's just advice on managing your relationship, using discipline to have your will not imposed on but reflected in the actions of the lady in your life according to her type, because they're not all the same.
No.
Most guys that give you advice will say they're all the same. But they're not. They're very different, but they do fall into 4 broad categories. Some of them are hybrids.
Hybrid, yes.
And that manizer, in some ways, is very simple, straightforward. She'll let you know what she wants out of the relationship, and then, she's willing to give a certain amount, and then you can come to a negotiated settlement. You don't marry her.
No, hell no.
So.
Right, So that was Trojan Horse. We'll do the next video on the other very triggering title. I tell you, I like the black and the pink. Caveman cheaties. Oh, okay. We'll do that next.